Farmers and ranchers, come to the Ag PhD Field Day on Friday, July 22nd. I'm Brad Swenson, president of Swenson Investments in Commodities in Sioux Falls and Inherent. My team will be there putting on 2 farm estate planning workshops. You'll want to learn the latest information on how to keep what you've worked hard for. Come to one of our 2 free farm estate planning workshops.
One of the most important things that farmers can do every summer that both Darren and I think is just essential is to get out and look at fields, not just farmers' own fields, but fields of other farmers around the country to find out what's new and different and what else they can do to maybe improve things on their farm.
Well, one of the ways I look at it is, what I see on my farm this year is 1 year's data. But if I can get around to some different areas of the country, maybe I go 100 miles each way from my farm, I'm going to see completely different weather patterns, different challenges that they're facing. Maybe it's a disease problem that could head my way. Maybe it's a weed problem. Maybe it's just some different farming practices that they're using. By looking at multiple farms each summer, you can get multiple years of data the way I look at things, because you know what? This year was wet. Maybe next year is going to be dry, so why not go into an area of our country that has been suffering with drought this year and see what problems they've run into?
I know that farmers are going to farm shows on a regular basis, so whether it's the state fair or, some equipment show or something like that, I do think it's important to get out and look at those things. But I think it's just as important to be looking at field demonstrations and plots, because those are the things that can really push a guy forward and really make a farmer more money in the future if he's doing a good job finding out what the new technologies are and properly using them on his farm.
But things are changing so fast, and that's what's challenging on this, because wow, there's this new product, but I only want to use it on a really small part of my farm because I don't want to take that kind of risk that I could do something to hurt my whole crop. So the way you can get a jump on these things is by seeing them a year or even 2 years ahead. Like, for example, at the field day we're doing on our farm, we're going to have some new technologies in both seed and in crop protection that you aren't going to see for a couple of years on your farm. So why not look at them right now, learn how they're going to do, and then you say, you know what, that's something that interests me. I'm going to look at that more next year, and then when it's released in a couple of years, I'll be able to adapt that on my farm quickly.
So what we're saying here is, if you are a farmer, we really encourage you to get out to some of these field days. If you're a non-farmer, we encourage you to do a little bit of the same anyway, just to find out a little more about agriculture, because it's quite often in the news media, they'll portray farmers as one thing and they'll talk about certain things that are going on, and what's really happening out here is something completely different.
Let me get back, Brian, to the field day we're doing at our farm. And there's lots of them you can go to. We've got a huge one that we're doing. And we're even going to have one of my heroes, Brian. Minnesota Viking is actually going to be right here on our farm, speaking to us about how growing up on the farm has made a huge difference in his life and in his career path. It's Chad Greenway. What a great example of growing up on a farm and that work ethic and what it can do for you in life.
Well, you talk about examples. I think Kip Cullers is a great example. He's the world record soybean producer. And that's kind of what we're striving for on our farm, is to raise soybeans like that, over 100 bushels per acre.
But we haven't beat Kip yet. We got a little work to do here to try and catch up to him.
Well, anyway, I guess we just encourage you again to attend our field day, because there are a lot of things that you're going to be able to see here just all in one chunk. We've got about 20 acres that's laid out for this. So we've got a ride and drive area so you can get on some new equipment and test some things out that way. We've got a live tiling demo along with a lift station demo that's going on. Besides a whole bunch of different plots, there are a number of these plots that are in the background here: corn, soybeans, wheat, and some other crops.
In the middle of the summer, Brent, I don't always want to be outside in the field all day long, and our field day runs from 8 in the morning till 8 in the evening, so you can certainly beat the heat by coming early or staying later on into the evening. But we're also going to have some classes in the middle of the day inside where it's air conditioned, where you can learn about things like estate planning and tile planning, all these things. What other classes have we got, Brian?
Well, we have a drainage lawyer who will be there to answer drainage law questions. Darren will be interviewing Kip Cullers, and there are just so many things that we would encourage you to take advantage of on this particular day. Again, it's Friday, July 22nd, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We'll be here all day, and we hope that you are too.
Well, there's certainly a lot of things that you will see at our field day. One thing I hope you don't see is our Weed of the Week. Can you identify this week's weed?